Today I'm going to talk about comparing yourself to non-eating disorder people. Please ignore my surroundings. I'm in my brother's room and he is disgustingly messy. You're actually really lucky that you can't see what I'm sat in because it's literally just a mess of paper and pants basically. But it's one of the only places in the house where it has good lighting. Good lighting and then a surface to put my camera on and to sit somewhere. So yeah, basically a lot of people seem to kind of come to me on my blog and say, but I don't see other people eating as much as I do. I shouldn't be eating 3,000 calories a day. I don't know anybody who eats that amount. Or somebody with extreme hunger saying like, I'm eating 6,000, 7,000 calories a day. No normal person does this. I just want to point out that you are not a normal person. You are somebody recovering from a restrictive eating disorder. When you try and compare yourself to somebody who is energy balanced and healthy, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of like comparing a sandwich to a shoe. They just don't go together. You can't compare them because they're two entirely different things. A non-eating disorder, a healthy person who's energy balanced, they don't have a calorie deficit. They don't have repairs to make inside their body that you do, meaning that you are going to need a shit ton more of energy than somebody who doesn't have a restrictive eating disorder, and is, as I said, healthy and energy balanced. So you cannot compare your hunger to their hunger. You have so much to make up for your calorie deficit and the repairs, and all of that takes a lot of energy, and then this is on top of a daily amount of calories that you need to function properly in your day. So you cannot compare your extreme hunger or an appetite that's bigger than standard appetite to somebody that doesn't have an eating disorder. And when people start saying, I don't know anybody who eats 2,500 or 3,000 calories. You do. You really do. You only see parts of people's lives. You don't see the full picture. There are, of course, people who mildly restrict and they don't eat 3,000 calories or 2,500 calories. Some of these people have eating disorders and some of these people have disordered eating, and there's obviously a difference. You can only develop an eating disorder if you have the genetic predisposition for it, and that becomes a massive problem because an eating disorder becomes something that completely consumes you. Disordered eating is something caused by diet culture and the way that society is and the way that it praises people for eating less and moving more and under eating and stuff like that. So there are people who work out when they don't actually want to work out but they think they should because it's healthy. People who mildly restrict because they feel like that's what they need to do because they've been told to do that. People who restrict food types, food groups, they are people that a lot of those people don't have eating disorders per se. They have disordered eating. It's something that will affect their lives and the quality of it negatively, but it won't consume them entirely like an eating disorder will. It's not something that is totally, they don't go to the depths that someone with an eating disorder does because they won't feel the guilt and everything to the extent that we do. But obviously they're still going to be affecting the quality of their life, and it's still going to make them less happy because they're going to affect their body and their brain and emotions and all that stuff, mood, in some kind of way. And yes, there are those kind of people. There are people that don't eat enough, but they're not having a full, wonderful unrestricted life, and you don't want to be like those kind of people. This is the kind of mentality you're trying to recover from. And then, of course, the majority of the time, there are the people that you see eating a small lunch and you say, well, they clearly don't eat 3,000 calories because they had such a small lunch. No, you don't see the rest of their day. They may have had like a really big breakfast, like with everything, bacon and mushrooms and sausages and toast, like, and eggs and everything. They might have had like a massive breakfast at 11 o'clock and it's come to 1 o'clock and they're not like very hungry because they've eaten like a massive breakfast, so they're having a small lunch. And then you don't see them when they go home, and then they might have a really big meal and snacks into the evening. Or there's somebody that you might spend the majority of the day with, and they might be, because of diet culture, there are people that don't feel comfortable eating in front of other people, and that's really, really sad. And those people they want to show off this impression that they don't eat very much because they've been told that that's what they're supposed to do, that eating less is what you're supposed to do to be healthy. And so people want other people to think that they're healthy. They don't want to be negatively judged. They don't want to be seen as unhealthy. So society says, eating less is a good thing. It means you're healthy. So they want to project that image that they don't eat very much to other people. And I find that really, really sad. But people do that. So you might spend the majority of a day with someone who's really hungry but won't eat in front of you because they're uncomfortable and not secure in themselves. And when they go home, they might eat a lot to make up for the calories that they missed out with at the end of the day. And I know that there are people who do this. People who they consume the calories that they need by themselves with no one else watching, and that's not a very nice life to lead either, because it means that you spend your day hungry and self-conscious and insecure, and you feel unable to eat in front of people. And I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that feeling, and it's not a very nice feeling. So you don't also see that part. You don't see when they go home behind closed doors when they eat what they need to eat, and it's sad because that is what they need to eat, but society has told them it's not. So you cannot compare yourself to people around you because you don't know the full story of their lives. You don't know their eating habits. You don't spend 24 hours with them. And of course there might be some people that you spend 24 hours with and they still feel unable to eat in front of you. So they restrict for that whole day. And then of course, there are some people who do restrict, as I said. But those are more the actual minority, because people with disordered eating, generally, if they end up actually restricting for a period of time, then they end up reactive eating at some point. Because of course we know that literally barely any diets work for a extended period of time, and the weight that people lose, they nearly always regain, and a lot of the time regain more, which is probably a kind of overshoot situation. So and with eating disorders, obviously a lot of us end up restricting for a long period of time. But I guess even with us, we end up recovering, which is brilliant, and then we have to gain the weight back again. That's obviously a good thing, and it's a good thing when people restrict and reactive eat. It's something that's keeping your body, your body is trying to fight to be healthy and fight to live. When you are going about your day and you see other people and it appears to you that they're eating less, either A, they're eating less than 3,000 calories, or 2,500, whichever they're eating less than their minimums, and their life is going to be not being lived to its full potential, or B, they are eating minimums. You just don't see them eat minimums. And you can't judge somebody's eating habits by the small window that you see them in during the day. And of course, when it comes to actually eating more than healthy energy balanced people, this is because you need to eat more to be a healthy energy balanced person. You need to eat a lot more than a healthy energy balanced person, because you're repairing massive amounts of damage done to your body and filling that calorie deficit. So that's absolutely needed. And there again, you can't compare yourself, because these people don't have the damages and the calorie deficit that you do. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is, don't compare yourself. You can't compare yourself. Sandwich, shoe. No. Not together. Not the same thing. Cannot compare them. So yeah. Obviously I didn't update last week. I didn't upload a video last week. I am going to make a video, I think, talking a little bit about that, just to kind of update on my situation at the moment and what's going on with it. And yeah, maybe show you a few things I got for my birthday as well. So yeah, I hope everybody is doing well, continuing to challenge your eating disorder, continuing to reach for health and happiness, and that you're setting yourself goals and, you know, defeating things like fear foods and habits and negative thoughts. So yeah, I hope everybody has had a good last 2 weeks, and that everybody will continue to have a good week. And yeah, of course, if you ever want to ask me anything or let me know how you're doing, then my Tumblr inbox is always open. So yeah, I hope you're having a good week, and I will probably upload some videos before next week. So I will speak to you guys soon.